Hello and welcome to the 2024 Sao Paulo EPrix post-race press conference. Joining us are race winner Sam Bird from Neil McLaren, Mitch Evans, Jaguar TTS Racing, and Oliver Rowland from Nissan. Well, congratulations on the podium, guys. Starting with you, Sam. That was an unbelievable last lap overtake for the win. A great battle with your former teammate Mitch, of course. Huge congrats. You said it yourself. Bird is back.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been an interesting two and a bit years, and haven't been in this chair for a long time, so it feels really great. I've got to say, firstly, well done to my team, Neil McLaren, for having faith in me for this year and really putting in a decent shift when it comes to understanding and trying to improve our race car. Also Nissan, our partners, I feel like we've really worked well with them, and things have come on really well quite quickly. We're not where we want to be yet, but we're definitely making some progress. And thirdly, to Mitch for being super fair, and it was a really fun race with somebody that I admire, and is my ex-teammate. It was great to have a good race with him.
So you mentioned there about it being a long time since being in that seat. But it's been 9 years, 3 months and 23 days since your first ever Formula E.
I was going to say, it hasn't been 9 years since the last one.
Since your first ever Formula E win. What I would like to know is, how does that one feel compared to this one? Because it must mean a hell of a lot.
I think this one is one of the more special because of what I've had to go through to get back to this chair. So yeah, this one definitely feels very special. Also the fact that it's first one for Neil McLaren. We had some goals at the beginning of the year about scoring some podiums. I would be lying to you saying that I thought that we could definitely win a race this early. It would have been a dream, but I didn't imagine that, but we've managed it. That doesn't mean to say that we've made it and we need to rest. Like, there's still a lot of work to do, but to score our first win feels very special.
Another stat for you, you're now just one win away from equaling the record number of wins that Seb still holds. And it feels like, based on what other teams were saying at the end of Diriyah, they were full of praise, or even flipped that concern of how efficient the McLaren and the Nissans were looking. You certainly showed them that they were right to be concerned today. This must be a huge boost.
It is a huge boost, but as I said, there's still work to be done. I'm going to enjoy tonight, don't get me wrong. I won't remember tonight. But there's still work to be done. You know, Jag, Porsche, Andretti, Envision, there's DS, Maserati, Nissan. There's so many other brilliant teams that at any given time can be winning or scoring podiums. So we need to learn from this, understand why it was really good, understand what we did well, what we did badly, and then try and score some more good points in Tokyo.
Thanks very much, Sam. Congrats again. Moving on to you, Mitch. Hard battle out there today in the heat, but the first podium for you of the season. Massive positive. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it's bittersweet, I would say. Given a few laps ago, I thought it was going to be for us again, but started getting some temperature warnings quite quickly, and then it kind of escalated on the last lap. I had basically, I had a huge D-rate on the last lap with power, so I was going to say that, so to allow the overtake of Sam looking really good. But
we spoke about it out there, and you said that you would help big me up, and now you've just absolutely thrown me under the bus. It's the greatest move of all time.
It was amazing. Virtually, I was running out of power. So I think even if Sam didn't overtake me there, he probably would have got me to up to the start finish line. So a bit frustrating with that, because I had loads of energy left. It was just trying to bring it home, and but yeah, just a little bit shy, 2 corners shy. So but yeah, to lose it out to Sam is he's been through a really tough period, and it's really cool to see him back in the top set as well. He does look good in orange, and it's good to see him back here in his winning ways. But from my side, yeah, look, I'm happy for the points, but we did all the right steps at the right time with these crazy races to produce another race win, but it wasn't meant to be today.
Can I get you just to touch upon a bit more about the temperature managing, because there was quite a few drivers that were talking on the radio about managing that, potentially over-managing it to the point where it was detrimental to their race. How was that for you? Did it impact your race?
Yeah, it affected me from winning. So
yeah. How much do you feel like? Do you feel that you're one of those that might have over-managed, or do you think you got it just right?
We'll have to look into it, to be honest. I've not experienced derate like that before in this category with the battery, so that was quite a new experience. But we knew it was going to be on the limits. But the rate it came in was quite aggressive, to be honest. And even when I was in the lead, I was under consuming a lot. So I was trying to I was doing all the right things, let's say, to try and manage the temp and energy and track position and everything. So a bit surprised to get the warnings, especially having that clean out. But if I was in the tow or in P2, P3, it kind of makes a bit more sense. But no, I don't think I overmanaged it. Whether I could have done something different, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, just the rate it came in was so aggressive. I felt like I was in a Gen 1 car on the last lap. So yeah, it was still a great move. But don't worry about it.
Finally for you, Mitch, Jaguar now have been on every podium so far this season. If you count the Visions as well, even more. Great for the team's title chase, but also for the newly announced manufacturers trophy recently that was announced this weekend.
Yeah, honestly, really strong start. We just carried the momentum from last year into this year. Nick's had an amazing start. Obviously today he's had an issue. I didn't see what happened to him. Good to see he's okay. When we came round, saw his car damaged. There's a wheel in the middle of the track, and it looked like it could have been quite bad. Fortunately, it sounds like it's all okay. So it's a shame for him. But from a team point of view, yeah, it's been a great start. We got big points every race, and we will continue to try and do that for the rest of the championship.
Thanks very much. Oliver, onto yourself. Second podium on the bounce. Great way to capitalise on that drama that unfolded in front of you in the last lap there, between Dennis and Verline. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, it was busy. In the beginning, I mean, it's pretty tricky when you're in the middle of the pack, right? Because everybody from when I was in around 10th, nobody behind really wants to stay behind. And then you want to make progress. So it's trying to attack without being attacked. So sometimes when you go on the outside in one corner, you might get passed by one. But I managed to survive quite well the beginning part of the race and move my way up. Did both my attack modes just before the second safety car, which was pretty good, and I didn't lose too much. And then I was in 7th, and honestly, when I was 7th, I thought, come from 11th. I'm pretty happy to take some points on a track that probably doesn't suit me or the car in certainly qualifying in a perfect way. So I was pretty happy to kind of come home behind everybody, and then I got an opportunity to pass Jev in turn 1, and then it became apparent quite quickly that the battery was going to be quite a big issue for us, so we had to take action quite early. And then I was able to pick off Antonio, who I think already had derating with 2 or 3 laps to go. And then, to be honest, when I was in 5th, it already felt like Christmas. I could see the other two were struggling more than what I was, but I was quite concerned to just finish the race myself. So I kind of saw them fighting into turn 7. I thought I'll just get close, and if anything happens, then I can pick up the pieces. And in turn 10, I think Pascal went in on Jake, and they were pretty aggressive on each other and put each other right on the inside for 11. I managed to get up underneath them and beat them to the line, which was pretty cool.
Well won. Now, I want to know about how this race differed from what was expected, because beforehand, words were being thrown out: hectic, mayhem, carnage, chaos, etc., etc. But it didn't seem to work out that way. It was a bit, not as much as someone saying there'll be 10 cars out of the race. That didn't happen. But in terms of energy, was it not as tough as expected with the safety cars? How was it different?
No, actually, I didn't think the safety cars made too much difference to our actual targets. But it was pretty tough from being in the middle of the pack. But what's quite tricky here is that when you have a battery temp issue, you can't save too much in the beginning of the race, because then if you have too much energy at the end, that completely screws your battery because you can't use it. So it's a really tricky balance for us to kind of have the right targets, but not have saved too much, because like mentioned, you can have all the energy at the end, but you can't actually use it if your battery's overheating. So I think it was the first time in Gen 3 that we've had this, and I think quite new for everybody. So to be honest, I must say that my team pretty much expected what happened in terms of overheating and made a really good job of it, because I started to struggle with probably 7 or 8 laps to go. I had warnings on the dash, but they managed it perfectly, and I can't fault them, to be honest.
And finally, similar to Sam in terms of the Nissan powertrain, this is a real step up for the Nissan powered cars, not just to be quick and quality, but getting podiums now. 3 for the powertrain in the first 4 races. Looking forward, what do you think is possible for Nissan Power? Are we looking at a title fight?
It's all about the drivers, right?
You tell me.
I'm joking. No, honestly, no, the team are working super. I think you saw last year, I think we both probably saw that they had potential at a lot of races, but never quite capitalised on it. You know, Sasha was super quick, sometimes in qualifying. Jake was super quick, and they looked competitive. So that's why it was attractive, I think, to be there. And yeah, I think the team has solidified itself. Both McLaren and Nissan work very well together, and we're able to kind of put together a package, keep chipping away at the top guys. We still know that we have some limitations that we can't really fix until next year, but I think if we can learn to be perfect this year, when we get hopefully what's coming next year, then we can be in a really strong place.
Exciting times. Well, thanks very much for joining us. Congratulations on the podium and for the win, Sam. Enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, there's not enough time for questions from the floor, but a reminder that the media pen will be open in the paddock directly after this. Thanks very much.
See you later.